Hello, everybody. No. Try that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dog Dare podcast. My name is David. This is episode number 9 of the Dog Dare podcast. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back to watch. And if you are a new viewer, I appreciate you taking the time as well to watch my little podcast and watch me incessantly ramble. I hope everybody had a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. I know it can be a bit of a crazy time for families and prepping food, and anybody out there that actually spent it alone may not have any family or may not be so connected to their family. I hope you had a enjoyable Thanksgiving and had some good food and did some nice, wonderful things for yourself, as everybody. Hopefully everybody did something nice for themselves as well. I know in my last podcast I mentioned that I was going to have a visiting brother and sister. I'm the youngest of 8 kids. Sadly, that didn't work out. My sister was driving in Mary from Virginia, and first off, she hit traffic, and then halfway here, her car broke down. So sadly, she had to get it towed back to home to Virginia to get work done. So she was unable to show up. My brother Gregory did, however, show up, but he showed up with a cold/flu. And sorry, that's my Huck, my partner's doggy, and my doggy. He's in the other room. Unfortunately, my siblings were not able to make it to this podcast. I figured it probably wouldn't be a good idea to videotape my brother who was sick. So, in the near future, my sister's going to plan to come out first of the year, and my brother may come out again middle of next year. So whenever I have one of them joining me out here in North Carolina, I will throw them here on this podcast. First off, my beverage from my Pottery Barn mug, if you can see that from a few years ago. This is a nice heavy mug. I love this. But I bring it out every year, the day after Halloween actually, to start enjoying beverages from it. Excuse me. Hot coffee with cream and a little sugar. So, what am I going to ramble about today? I want to thank everybody that entered my last episode. My last episode had a giveaway, and the question I had in that last episode was, what was your favorite holiday memory from the past, and what would you knit today to remember that by? Some really beautiful entries. I really appreciate everybody joining. Answering those questions over on my Ravelry page. I'll put my Instagram and Ravelry info here for you. But it was just really beautiful and some really wonderful, heartfelt messages. So thank you very much for that. I do enjoy reading them. And congrats to the winners. I'm also going to do a giveaway today. 3 prizes. So if you can hang out through my rambling at the end of the episode, I will tell you all about those giveaways that are coming up. But let's see, I made my little notes, because without them I will be very forgetful. I do want to thank a few wonderful folks for giving me a shout out. Nathan from the Sockmatician, I gotta love you. Thank you very much. Nancy from Round Rabbit. These are podcasts I'm sure you're aware of. If you're not, you really should run over and check them out. The Sockmatician, Nathan is an actor, a singer, a knitter, just all-around Renaissance man is what I'll call him, and does some amazing work with knitting, and also creates patterns, and has a great, wonderful shop over on Ravelry. So definitely check him out. Nancy is a wonderful knitter. She also has a wonderful shop that sells some of her pottery, her buttons, ceramic buttons and such. Wonderful cuffs, just some wonderful project bags. In fact, I just ordered one from her again last night that had a chipmunk on it. I have a thing for chipmunks and squirrels. Nothing weird, just love them. Of course, Jody and Tracy from the Grocery Girls. Hello, ladies. Thank you very much. Huge fan of you gals, as I'm sure everybody else here is. And the Knitty Girl 1 podcast, Heidi, who also is connected to the Undead Yarn shop on her page. She has a wonderful little podcast as well, and some beautiful yarn that she dyes, and just artists beyond belief. So I really appreciate all those wonderful folks. Also, of course, one of my winners from my last giveaway was Rebecca from the Mean Girls Knit. Rebecca and Stephanie, they're sisters. They have a fun podcast that gets me laughing every time. So I'll put all their information here for those wonderful folks, and if you get a chance, check them out. So where else can we go from here? Oh, I also wanted to mention last episode I mentioned Kina from Vegas Dealer 78. She has a wonderful podcast, and I ordered some wonderful, beautiful Santa yarn from her. I call it Santa. Of course, I didn't bring it with me. It's in the other room, so I don't want to be rude and step away. But she did knit this beautiful little bluebird of happiness. When I ordered her the yarn from her, she tucked this in there, which was very sweet of you, Kina. Thank you. A little beautiful little postcard she included. And it said, "The bluebird of happiness, this merry little feathered friend, so cheery, bright, and blue, because he brings true happiness, I'm sending him to you." So thank you very much, Kina. That was beautiful. And that is definitely going on my Christmas tree. Another little goodie I bought recently from an artist on Etsy that I've had an eyeball on for quite a while now. And her name is, the shop name is Miss Bumbles. She creates hand-felted little figures. I have a bit of a thing for little figures, as you can probably tell with my background. But look at that adorable little hedgehog. He has a little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern, and he has a Christmas tree to kind of work out both holidays. So he is sitting on my little mantle. I hope that's coming in clear for you. Here's the bane of my existence, is this new camera I'm using, Canon G7X. The, oh yeah, that bugs me. The focus thing stinks. Anyway, so there you go. That's probably better. But he's adorable. Little sweetie. I have not named him yet, but soon. So, what other goodies did I get? I did find, I'm here in North Carolina. I've been here several years with my partner, Billy. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, so is Billy. At least he was there for a few years before him and I luckily met and came out here to North Carolina. One of the challenges I had here in North Carolina is there's not that many yarn shops nearby, and there's not that many classes to take. So, you know, I'm a bit of a what's the word? Stickler. Sometimes I see something, I'm like, oh, I'd love to try that, and I'll try to search out some local classes to take. And of course, Craftsy.com. I've joined several of their online classes. If you haven't tried Craftsy.com, it's a great, wonderful resource. But I know for me, sometimes I tend to do better when I am one-on-one with a teacher or in a class, so I can ask questions. And there's something about visually hands-on sort of thing, especially if I'm knitting, that sometimes I can't quite get when I'm watching it on a screen. Sometimes the camera angle's not the best. Sometimes, you know, I find myself craning my neck to look around the hands, and that ain't gonna help because it's on pre-recorded video. So I found there's a shop here in Charlotte. I think it's called Charlotte Yarns. Of course, now I forgot the name of it. But anyway, I found it and I visited it last week. And it's about a 25-minute drive, 25-minute drive from here, which I'm not a big fan of driving. I'm not a big driver. I've had probably 2 car accidents in my life. One when I was a kid that flipped the car on the freeway. So I don't know what it is, but I tend to not be a big fan of driving. I used to commute when I lived in the city in San Francisco, and I worked at a personal growth workshop in San Jose, California, that I would drive to. That was about an hour drive every way, and that was fine. But I think doing it for so many years, I did it for about 3 years, it probably burned me out. So anyway, my ideal is, you know, is there a yarn shop, you know, 5 minutes away that I could go to, or bicycle to, or walk to? But anyway, this shop, I'm pretty sure it's called Charlotte Yarns, is about 20-25 minutes from here. So I went last week. Great little shop, wonderful, friendly staff, and they do classes. They do knitting classes. So the woman that owns it, a very sweet lady, she was explaining to me that, you know, she does one-on-one, and she prefers one-on-one, although they do occasional group classes, but she teaches one-on-one as well. So I asked, my biggest challenge, I think, is completing a sock, knitting a sock or socks. I have huge envy of all you wonderful knitters out there who are making some beautiful socks out there that you are showing off, which you should. But my goodness, those are some beautiful socks you guys are doing. And I've done Craftsy, a few classes on Craftsy, and I think what's my stumbling block is I need someone standing with me who can actually show me what I'm doing wrong as I'm doing it. The visual thing, especially with such small yarn, needles, it's not clicking for me when I'm watching it on a video. I need someone there, hands-on. So she does sock classes, learning how to knit socks. She says she does the Kitchener stitch, Kitchener heel. So she was very clear how she does it and what her process is. And she had a woman there, a student, and she said, "Hey, show off your socks to him." So she, the poor gal, reluctantly pulled out her socks. It was her first pair, and showed me, and I thought they looked fantastic. So I definitely praised her for her skills. So what I'm going to do is eventually, probably after the holidays, start doing some classes with her. And, you know, sock yarn, sock knitting. Also want to do pick her brain. I mean, hey, I have a one-on-one teacher. I'm going to take full advantage of it. So I'm very excited about that because I'm anxious to ramp up my level of knitting so I can show off some socks. A couple episodes back, I showed off my attempts at the beginning. Probably one of my first or second episodes I've recorded, and they were not pretty. So I tried a few since then, and I tend to get a bit discouraged. So when I just get discouraged with something, I keep trying, and then I just gotta put it down and walk away. And then sometimes when I come back to it, it clicks. But anyway, I'm very happy that I will be taking some classes. One-on-one classes with a skilled teacher. So there is that. What else can I ramble about? Oh, I also want to mention regarding Instagram, I've had a few people message me about Instagram. I have my Instagram account private, and the reason I do that is that I don't know if you've noticed, but if you haven't checked, you may want to check your Instagram follower list and go through that, and you may want to block some of those followers, because what I've noticed is that sometimes I'll get someone follow. If I didn't have it private, I'll get followers that I don't know who they are. Granted, I don't know a lot of you yet, only through this, but I find out that a lot of them are scams, or a lot of them are spam stuff. So it might be a business, or it might be some sort of undesirable sites that will follow you, and then what I've heard is that sometimes they will pull from your follower list. I'm not a paranoid person. I'm just saying that that's why I selected mine as private. So that's the only reason. So if you request to follow me, I do my best to check it pretty regularly, and I will, you know, accept. What I may do is, if it's an odd photo, sometimes I'll get a bit of a racy photo in there when it's the profile, so I click it, and if it's not what I want, I'll block it. And that just sort of protects anybody who is following me from anybody getting in that pool. So just a little friendly tip if you want to check it out. sometimes your followers are not necessarily the followers you want. So there's that. I also have Facebook. I don't really use Facebook that much. I tend to be using Instagram more so. Facebook I used a lot in the past, and I have a lot of, mostly it's my coworkers and some random friends. But what I did from Facebook is I'm a vegetarian and I'm trying to be a vegan, but I'm not there yet. And I started to like some pages that were connected to animal protection and all that stuff. So what I found out was I'll go to my Facebook page, and a lot of those posts that I've liked, they'll show some graphic content that really disturbs me. And I don't want to unlike them because I believe in what the cause is. So what I tend to do is I find myself kind of unfocusing my eyes and quickly going through Facebook to see if there's anything I need to take a look at. The other complaint I have with Facebook is, and I know I've heard this from other people, is they change your timeline. So if, my nephew posts something on Facebook an hour ago, I may not see that post at all in my timeline, or I may not see it for another day or so. So, and I think sorry, my phone cut off. Or my camera cut off because it fell asleep probably from my rambling. So what I was saying was, the other problem I have with Facebook is I mess with timelines. So I used to like it back in the day when if my nephew posted something an hour ago, I would see it there an hour ago. It's not mixed up. It's not based on, the popularity of someone who posts something or whatever. And that really bothers me because I'll have a sister of mine in the past would say, hey, did you see my Facebook post? And I didn't. So, anyway, I don't really go to Facebook. So I tend to do Instagram. So if you care to follow me on Instagram or send me a message, shoot it over on the Instagram account if you'd like. Gosh, I feel like I'm rambling a lot. More so than usual. All right, so let me show off some goodies I got. So speaking of the grocery girls, Jody, I was able to nab one of these from Mrs. Brown's Bags shop on Etsy. I've actually had my eye on this one for quite a while. She had it in her profile picture, I believe. And I love it because to me, it's very masculine, it's very warm, it's just a really beautiful bag, and I saw it pop up on her shop, so I had to run over there and grab it. I love it. Wonderful construction. This is my second bag from Jody that I've purchased from her Etsy shop, and just love it. The quality, it feels wonderful. I ought to just stuff it and sleep on it like a pillow. When I was at that Charlotte yarn shop, I also purchased some yarn, some beautiful yarn they had. They had a great selection there. In fact, when I do go there and start taking classes, I will ask them for their permission first, but I would love to take some video there and possibly even interview the owner of the place. Really friendly staff, I like that. But I saw a few yarns that I loved. This one here is Madeline Tosh, Tosh DK, and the color is Cove. I'm not going to go too close because I don't want it to unfocus. But a nice light bluish, sea foamish color. But I love that. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Beautiful. I also found Millefiori. This had a beautiful colorway. I don't see any name on this. There we go. I didn't see any name on this, but some beautiful black and red and orange colorway. Isn't that great? I am so fascinated with you dyers out there that dye yarn. I really want to try that, but I'm not sure if I'm prepared to take on all that it entails. I think it's a beautiful art, and I'm very envious of it. This is also a sock yarn. Phoenix DK Prince. Ella Ray is the company. I don't see a name for a colorway, but I love the colors in that. Some orange and blue and yellow and cream color. But I thought that was a great colorway for some socks. And eventually, once I take some classes, I'll be able to actually friggin' knit some socks. So there's that. Also, I do have a giveaway still. I have 3 giveaways to give away. I'll give those here in a bit. I'm just going to ramble slightly a little longer. So, what did I want to mention? As you notice, I have a lot of clutter, a lot of stuff in my, what I call my room of requirements. Before that, I used to call my Pinch cave. Pinch was my dog that I had that got his angel wings a year and a half ago. He's a miniature pinscher. I'll throw a picture in here of the little guy. Pinch was and is a wonderful dog. I say is because he's around me, is what I like to believe. He had a sister, Bailey, who's a Jack Russell, who passed away about 8 months before Pinch did. And Bailey was a sweet, energetic Jack Russell, and I'll throw her picture in here as well. But I call them brother and sisters, and 2 different personalities. Pinch was very overly protective of me. He didn't want anybody around me. He loved Billy, though. That was one of the good things, that when I introduced Billy to Pinch and Bailey, Pinch went right up to him and wiggling his little tail, and to me that was a sign of, that's a good sign. Pinch has been around some, a few of my siblings in the past and other people, and I can always tell when Pinch is a little offstandish. So that was a good sign. Bailey, however, they had different personalities. I may have mentioned this before. Inside the house, Pinch was very, he owned the place. I mean, he was very opinionated and very stubborn little guy. And Bailey was very calm and relaxed, and I called Bailey the world's best professional snuggler, because she could just snuggle in the tightest of places and just go to sleep. But if you took them outside, when I would take them outside, their personalities would switch. So outside, Pinch was a little more subdued, a little more shy, and Bailey was just like a Tasmanian devil. Just went crazy when she saw other dogs, and I'd have to, or kids even. So I'd have to pick her up and pick Pinch up and cross the street if a dog was coming my way. But anyway, love the heck out of those 2 little guys and gal. Guy and gal. So this room here is what I call now the room of requirements. I used to call it the Pinch cave because it was sort of eclectic and kind of interesting, a little gloomy, dark, and just a fun place. But anyway, so sometimes you'll hear me refer it as the Pinch cave, and sometimes I refer to it as the room of requirements. But I bring that up because, as you can see, I am a bit of a fan of knickknacks and clutter. I'm trying to declutter this room. We've only lived here a year and a half now, I think, almost 2 years. So I'm slowly finally getting to the point of now I can take everything off the shelves and arrange it and kind of clear out some of it. But I bring it up because I'm also fascinated with this trend of tiny homes, tiny living. There's a company, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of them, called the Tiny Tumbleweed home is what it's referred to. And they're homes that look very similar to this. They're little homes that are on wheels, and it's a big movement. Even HGTV has a few shows of tiny living, and it's a beautiful little, what I call hobbit house on wheels. And some people are actually downsizing their life, getting rid of their homes and moving into this. Some are moving into Winnebagos or Airstreams. But for me, this type of look really speaks to me. I think it looks a wonderful, beautiful natural wood. So I bring it up because a couple years ago when Billy and I were in San Francisco Bay Area, for about 2 weeks I had him convinced of, you know what, let's give it a try. Because I was talking to him, and we can all do this. If you look at your house or your apartment, how much of that apartment are you actually living in? How much are you actually utilizing? Now, of course, we all have a bunch of storage and a bunch of knickknacks and a bunch of stuff. I do, very much so. But, I was showing Billy at the time, let's look around the house. This is our path of walk. We go here, we watch TV here, we sleep here, we walk to the kitchen here. So if you look visually of actually your path in that house, in our house, I'll speak for myself, it was very little where we actually went to. We rarely used any of the spare room. We rarely sat in the other corner of the house. So for 2 weeks, I had him on board. So we did some research, and, you know, I was doing research prior to that. And about 2 weeks later, he's like, we were sitting there one morning on a weekend, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't think we can do this. I just cannot live in that small of a space. And then from there, it went he was even more clear that he would never do that. So it's one of our things I joke with him about. Let's get rid of everything and move into a tiny tumbleweed. His thing is like, oh, David, you would never be able to get rid of your stuff. You would never be able to declutter. There is no way you could downsize to a tiny tumbleweed this size. And you know what? Like I tell him, I absolutely could. Now, I have some beautiful, wonderful, cherished things that I love, but if I had the choice to downsize and only pick a few of the things that really speak to me, I easily could do that. I really could. Because to me, what fascinates me about that whole tiny home movement is that you really focus on having just the things that really mean something beautiful to you, that really speak to you and really are of value to you. Even if it's not monetarily valuable, it's valuable to you, and that's unspeakable of how much that can be worth. So that's one of the things that knitting would be perfect, because, you know, knitting, you have a few needles and some yarn, and I mean, of course, we all have our huge stash of yarn, but that could be, you know, squished into those airtight bags, or you know, you only buy yarn as you work on a project. But anyway, I just really like the idea, and I purchased this book called Cabin Porn. There's no porn in it unless it's unless you love cabins like I do. But it's a great little book on the different cabins that are out there, different people's, you know, the architecture, and I just love the idea of just, you know, simplifying life, not working 40 hours a week to just pay for your home and pay for all the expenses that come from it. Now, granted, I'm not preaching. I'm just saying this is for me. This is my little fantasy of doing this in a beautiful little cabin out in the woods. And like I told Billy, you know, it would have to be something where if we were doing it, I would want to have it on some nice property, or somewhere where at least the views are nature. Living in San Francisco for so long on the Bay Area, I am not a fan of being able to look out your window and seeing people staring back at you. In fact, the last apartment I got in San Francisco before I met Billy was really tight. So the kitchen had a window that looked directly into the kitchen of the other unit, the other neighbor. And my first day moving in, I'm in there scrubbing the cabinets, because I'm a bit of a clean freak when it comes to moving into a new place. Scrubbing the cabinets, and out of the corner of my vision, I saw a man staring at me through the window. So of course I'm like, okay, what is that? So I didn't want to directly look, because he's, you know, the window was right there. So I'm kind of, you know, strategically trying to clean over here so my peripheral vision will be a little more open, a little closer. Well, it was a man who was shirtless, and it was not one of those people that you want to see shirtless. So I, you know, pretended I was cleaning and walked into the other room and waited a little bit, and then he left, and then I quickly you know, ran out and got some curtains, and those were the first things I put up in that apartment. But you know, with a tiny tumbleweed, if Billy and I were ever to do that, which I'm pretty sure we're not, because Billy's very adamant about not doing it, I would want it on property where when you look out windows, you're not seeing anything. That's one thing I like about here in North Carolina, our home. You are able to look out windows and have some privacy, or go outside and walk the dog, especially in the backyard, and have some privacy. And I really value that. That's something I never grew up with, especially being the youngest of 8 kids. So I do value that. But little different than yarn, but it's somewhat connected, because it's something like it would be interesting to know what you would, you know, if you ended up moving into a tiny little home like this, what is some of your cherished items that you would take with you that meant something to you. So some interesting things to look into if you care to. So I think I have rambled enough about random things. I actually want to ramble more, but I don't want to drag it on too long for everybody. So let's get to the giveaway section. So I will show the prizes, 3 prizes. It's the same thing. If you go to Ravelry, I'll post on Ravelry the episode number 9 question. You answer that there, and I will choose 3 winners next Friday, December 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern is the cutoff time. So next Friday, December 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern, I will go into Ravelry. I'll make a note in there that the contest is over. Please feel free to continue to leave your answers, because I do love reading them. And then I will choose the 3 winners. I'll do a quick little video next Friday to announce those winners. And that's how we'll do it. So, before I show the prizes, let me show this other bag that's mine that I purchased from Stitchin' You Bags, stitchinubags.etsy.com. It's from Buddy the Elf. Elf is one of my favorite holiday movies, period. But it says on here, this is from Buddy. First, we'll make snow angels for 2 hours. Then we'll go ice skating. Then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough. It's my favorite. As fast as we can. And then we'll snuggle. So we're all gonna snuggle virtually today. But I just love this bag. They showed it off on Instagram, and I had to run to their shop and order it. So when I ordered this, they were very sweet enough to give me a project bag for a giveaway. So that's going to be one of the giveaways. So now let me show you the 3 giveaways. Let me start with prize number 3. So the 3rd prize is going to be a free pattern of your choice from Ravelry, from the artist Jen Sheelan. I'll put her info here. She also has a really fun podcast. If you search on YouTube, Jen Sheelan. She is so energetic and funny and happy. I love her Halloween episode because she had her beautiful big dog, and she put a lion's mane costume thing on his little head. So he was so cute. He would just sit there as she was talking, doing her podcast, and he would sit there with his cute little mane on his head. Friggin' adorable. So love her webcast. My camera went off again. Sorry. So, prize number 2 was from Rian, if I'm saying your name correctly, R-I-A-N-N, who was from the Stitchin' You Bags, stitchinubags.etsy.com. Very sweet and kind enough to give us this project bag to give away. It didn't want to open it from the plastic. A little mini in there, some wonderful tea, but it's a bag that has some holiday Christmas trees in there. There's a few reindeers, some little sparkly ornament looking things. Just really a beautiful bag. And I can confirm with you, it's very well made because of my bag. Just really well made, just a very sweet gesture. So thank you very much for giving this as our 2nd prize winner will be this project bag. So the 1st prize winner, when I was at the Charlotte Yarns, the owner there had a game that she created called The Last Knitter Standing. So it's a little board game that she created. And the directions are, you know, there's some cards in here. There's a little spinner that you spin, take turns. And part of the game is you knit. It'll give you strategies or challenges. You have to knit those. And at the end of the hour of gameplay, which is about an hour long, you and your game players can see who wins based off of what you knit and how you knit them. So I thought that was a wonderful creative idea. So that's part of prize number 1. The other part of prize number 1 is something I posted on Instagram recently that got a huge love from a distance. So I had to order a few more, and one of them is for a giveaway, and it is for the wonderful little holiday camper. Is that not friggin' adorable? Come on! Speaking of tiny tumbleweed homes, See, now you understand. Why is he rambling about tiny tumbleweed homes? It all connects. So there you can have your own little tiny tumbleweed home. This is first prize. So first prize will be this little trailer with the Last Knitter Standing game. So that's prize number 1. So hopefully you all love these prizes. Prize number 1's the trailer with the game. Prize number 2 is this awesome little project bag. And prize number 3 is the wonderful pattern from Jen Sheelan's shop. So, those are the prizes. Again, next Friday, December 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern US, I will go in, close the contest, choose the 3 winners, random number generator, create a video, post that, and we'll also list that in the Ravelry group as well. So the question is, and I always tend to do these questions off the cuff. So the question for this giveaway will be, I want to make it around holiday. I'm going to make it around Christmas. If you were to, Christmas Eve is coming. When I was in elementary school, I was part of this play where the song, and I don't know why it stuck with me, but the song was that we had to sing, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please to put a penny in the poor man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, God bless you. There you go. And you can thank me later for not actually singing that because it would not have been so pretty. So, Christmas Eve, Santa comes, and we normally leave out a little plate of cookies and a little glass of eggnog, maybe some treats for the reindeer, which is what I normally do. So, this Christmas Eve, what would you like to knit for Santa Claus? And or his elves and or his reindeer? What would you like to knit for Santa and his team? And what would you like Santa to leave for you under the Christmas tree this year? So, the question, episode 9, Dog Dare Podcast, episode 9 question is, what would you like to knit or weave or create for Santa Claus or his elves or his reindeer this year that you will leave alongside his milk and cookies and reindeer treats? And what would you like Santa to leave under the tree for you? So there's your question. Gotta be festive, come on. Happy Merry Christmas. So, all right. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for hanging in there, and I do appreciate it very much. I can't believe the number of subscribers I'm getting. I really appreciate that. That's boggles my mind. It's crazy. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a happy week ahead and enjoying the holiday festivities that are around us. I know sometimes Christmas brings some sadness around folks. I can understand that, but try to do your best to create some fond new memories. Even if it is by yourself, just try to create some wonderful, warm-hearted memories for yourselves. Have some wonderful eggnog, gingerbread cookies. As you can tell, I'm hungry. So there you go. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.